This is the brand new 911 GT3. This car has something I really quite like, which I'll come back to in a moment. We'll first start off with that the whole front bumper is a new design from the 991 GT3. Of course, the newly designed taillights and the newly designed rear wing. It sits a little further on the back of the car, but it gives it a better stance and better road presence, I think. This car is fitted with the Pilot Sport Cup 2 tires, which is, I think, a must on a GT3. It's also fitted with the Porsche Sports exhaust, which you'll hear in a minute. Here you have your little 4.0 badge, which is really cool, especially because in the 991 GT3 it was a 3.8 liter, so yeah, 3.8. I think 4.0 is a little bit more gangster to have on your rear wing. You have the sport design wing mirrors, which are really cool to look at, I think. Also, these two vents are also newly designed for the 991.2 GT3, which is quite an aggressive and like cool looking design, I think. So why don't we go ahead and unlock the car and jump right in. So you then jump into these lovely bucket seats. You then close the door, and here we are inside the new GT3. And this is what I was talking about earlier. My favorite thing about this car, the manual gearbox. I absolutely think this is a must in the GT3. Like, you can have it with a PDK, but I think that's only a must when you are going to use this car on track. If you use this manual gearbox in the mountain road, for example, you'll really get like a close connection with your car, and I think that is really cool. So here you have a cigarette lighter and a little storage to store some coins or whatever. Also in the back of this car you have some speakers, which is quite cool, I think. Just like in the GT2 RS, here you have the button to open the front hood, and here you have the button to open the rear engine bay. Also the doors and even the door handles are in Alcantara and red contrast stitching, which is also really cool because it like matches with the exterior color, which I think is so nice about the GT3 and also the GT2 RS, which has an even bigger wing, that you can just look at your beautifully designed rear wing when you're driving your GT3. And also this car has, unlike the GT2 RS, like a red stripe in Alcantara in the center of the wheel. In the GT2 RS it was like a leathering in the center of the steering wheel. So here you have the two GT3 logos embroidered in the place where normally the rear seats are, which you are probably all familiar with. So here you have your sport button, here you have your button to stiffen the suspension up. Here you have your exhaust button, which will basically give you a nicer exhaust tone and also a much louder exhaust tone. And here you have your front nose lift. Yeah, here you have your hazards. Here you have the button to lock the whole car up. Let's just ignore this beautiful manual stick for a moment. And then we come around to the new Porsche interface, which is exactly the same as in the new GT2 RS. And the really cool contrast stitching in the dashboard. And what else do we got? As I already touched up on, the nice sport design wing mirrors. And just like in the GT2 RS, this car has the all black steering wheel, which I think is really gangster. Here you have your window controls for your left and right window, and here you have your wing mirror controls, and here are the buttons basically to configure the mirrors in which position you want to have them. So here you also have your light controls, which Porsche nails every time, and here you have the slot to put your key in to start the car up, which we'll hear in a moment. And here you have your all important rev counter with the nice GT3 logo in there, and also your speedometer, which shows you if you're going like over the speed limit or just about the speed limit. I don't think you're going to drive the speed limit in this car, but anyway. Then you have your fuel consumption, basically how much fuel you got left in the car, and then you also have the engine temperature, which is really important because you basically shouldn't rev a cold engine, I think. So this car is also fitted with the really cool roll cage, which the GT2 RS didn't. In the inside it'll give you much more comfort than in this GT3. So where was I? Yeah, so you also have the beautiful bucket seats in this car with the nice red GT3 stripe. and also Alcantara in the center of the seats and leather on the side of the seats, and the all important carbon on the back of the seats, which is like just amazing, I think. This car has the silver accents inside of the car. Yeah, I'll just go outside of the car and touch up on the like technical stuff about the new 991.2 GT3. We'll also hear the car start up, so let's go outside. So this car has exactly 500 horsepower and its max torque is 460 Newton meters. Top speed is 320 kilometers an hour, and the car reaches its max torque at 6000 RPM. It does 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds.